Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans, the 1973-76 Carryover League. Today, we are in the National League West with the best-of-7 series between the Houston Astros and the San Francisco Giants. Short take before we start. Giants are having a heck of a hot start to their season. Astros are right, just barely under 500. That's how this, that was the storyline at the beginning of this series. Let's take a look at what's taking place. Game 1 in Houston, the Astrodome. Jim Barr for the Giants, Dave Roberts for the Astros. Dave Roberts is having problems. A walk single and a 3-run homer by McCovey in the first. 3 singles are run in the fourth, a couple walks, a couple doubles in the fifth. Guy gets thrown out the plate to help him. Walk, a double in the sixth. Guy gets thrown out of the plate to help him. Doesn't matter. He's taken out because he's been awful today, really. Another home run in the ninth inning by Tito Fuentes. Meanwhile, Jim Barr is just sailing through this Houston Astro lineup like Swiss cheese. 4-hit shutout, CGSO. 3 walks, 4 Ks. Complete game shutout. Jim Barr Giants continue their torrid start and waste the Astros 7-zip. Game number 2 in the Dome. 4-2 Giants. It all comes early. Walk, single in the first is a couple runs. A walk, a 2-run homer by Mr. McCovey. It's 4-zip. Astros don't score for the first 7 innings. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, you ain't selling tickets if you got a great pitching staff. You got to put some runs on the board. You don't put any runs on the board, I don't care how good you are. You've got to, Seaver, Palmer, Carlton, Catfish Hunter. Doesn't matter. That's all great and wonderful. But if you don't put something other than goose eggs on the board, fans aren't going to turn out. 8th inning, we get a Bob Watson solo homer. And the Astros have finally scored in 2 games. Bottom of the 9th, they make it interesting off of Gary Lavelle, who almost blows the save. Charlie Williams gets the final out. They do load the bases, which is good news for the Astros, but they lose 4-2. Okay. So what happens when we go to San Francisco? They are feeling themselves, folks. And okay. Game 3, it's Larry Dierker, again, an excellent starting pitcher for the Astros, versus Ron Bryant, a 24-game winner. In the bottom of the 2nd inning, Von Joshua hits a home run. Okay, great. But frankly, that's the least amount of offense the Giants have put forth in the 3 games. It doesn't matter. After 5 shutout innings, check this out. 5 shutout innings in which Ron Bryant has a lead and qualifies for a win, strikes out the side in the 5th. You know what the Giants do? The Giants realize that Ed Halicki in their bullpen, their long man, he's hardly pitched this year. So they hook Bryant with a shutout 2-hitter through 5 and let Ed Halicki finish the game. He gives up 4 singles and a strikeout. Ball game. That's it. This is what the Giants do. They don't care. They're just saying, we're just going to win, and we'll either win 1-0 or 9-0. Doesn't matter. It's us. And that is a cocky team. You pull a starter with a shutout and you let your long man go 4 innings just because he needs work in a 1-0 game? That's one of the most ballsiest moves. You're trying to, obviously you're trying to sweep the Stros. I get it. But boy, 6 or 7 zip, I would have done something like that maybe. But in a 1-0 game, old Ed Halicki comes in, a couple singles in the 6th. The guy gets thrown out on the bases. Yeah, a single in the 7th and a single in the 9th. And bullpen stayed quiet. Mike Caldwell, Charlie Williams, Gary Lavelle, they're playing Parcheesi or something out there while this is going on. Giants win 1-0. They are up 3-0. And folks, you might think wherever you are, you know, you're living wherever you're living. No, I got some news for you. You're living in Giants world. You're living in the world of the San Francisco Giants. You're not where you think you are, folks. You are in the world of the San Francisco Giants as they are just making a mockery of the National League. Here we go. They're 10-3. They've won every series they've played. Oh, no, they didn't. They actually lost to the Big Red Machine 3-2. My bad. So they started 2-3 by losing to the Big Red Machine, and they've ripped off 8 straight wins. So, yeah, that's where the Giants are. Astros, it's a shame. I really like the Astros, but they are just playing poorly, as I've just illustrated, and now they are in the bottom of the National League West. Didn't expect that. Look, it looks like Giants-Dodgers, as IRL MLB would suggest. So there's that. Game 4 today in San Francisco. I have no idea what's going to happen. Probably a Giants sweep. You'd have to probably put your money on that. But we've seen this happen before. A team doesn't put pedal to the metal, and all of a sudden there's a momentum swing, and who knows what could happen. Houston could unlock the floodgates, if there is such a thing in Houston. Today's starting pitchers, it's a rematch of Game 1. Dave Roberts, who gave up 6 runs in 6 innings for the Houston Astros, was 17-game winner in 73 with a 2.86 ERA. And Jim Barr, the best pitcher on the 1974 Giants, along with Ron Bryant, the best pitcher on the 73 Giants, John Montefiore, the best pitcher on the 1975 Giants. Get the idea, folks. Not many weaknesses on this team. Barr, 13-game winner, 2.74 ERA in 240 innings. More of the same, completely different. What do you think, folks? Houston at San Francisco. Let's get started. Leading off for the Astros, it's Cesar Cedeno. 55, strikeout. Batting second, and they've juggled their lineup because of the misery, of course. You just got to do something. They put Joe Ferguson, who draws a lot of walks, in the 2 spot. 65, flies to center. And Jose Cruz, 67, pops to short. Bottom of the first, it's Bobby Bonds. 46, oh boy, double 1-8, base hit. Double A stealer? Oh, sure. Yeah, you got to attempt to steal. You get the stolen base. You get the T rating. No, 1-6. So that's the first break the Astros have. No T rating. Tito Fuentes, 57's okay. Gary Matthews, 2-5. There's a base hit in the center. You want to take on Cedeno? No. Now, normally I'd say, oh, you just do it. But we have to, dude's got a -3 arm in center field. Let's just pump the brakes on this cockiness just for a moment. Excuse me, -4 arm in center field. So Bobby Bonds recognizes the elite arm that rivals his. Game respects game, I guess you could say. They're both 1 -4s. Bonds is at third. Matthews is at first. Speed everywhere. Playing back was still holding for Dick Dietz. And, by the way, Dick Dietz is batting. Another reason not to run. 64, though, is a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it's Willie McCovey now. Now the easy part of the lineup. 1-7 is a K, and Giants do not score. All right, top of the second. Frank Robinson, 68, pops to second. Bob Watson, 39, flies to center. And Bob Hansen, single 118, gets it. And Doug Rader, 2-9, is a single to right. 2 on 2 outs for Tommy Helms. He bounces to short. Bottom of 2, it's Larry Herndon, 56, second X. But you got Tommy Helms at 2-10 at second base, makes the play. Chris Spire, 46, double 108, and he gets it. Mark Hill, 3-6, base hit to left field. Spire, 14. Oh, he's definitely run off Frank Robinson. He's got a +3 arm. He scores. Rob Sparing, 39's a walk. Oh, boy. Back up top to Bobby Bonds, 4-11. Right X, who's out in right field. Jose Cruz is a 2-11. And that's a single dot. Like I said, folks, I don't know where you are. You could be in the Central Time Zone. You could be in Greenwich Time, East Coast Time. But I'm telling you right now, folks, you're living in the San Francisco Giants world. 2-0. Runners on the corners for Fuentes with the infield up. 110, base hit right field. Sparing scores, Bonds, 17 runner. Do you want to take on the -2 arm? Yeah, let's do it on a 15. Makes it. Got runners on the corners with 1 out. Infield comes up and holds for Gary Matthews, 33, pops out. And with 2 outs, Dick Dietz, 410, third X, 1E17 at third base. Should go well, but it does not. The 1E17 makes the error, and that brings another run in. First and second, 2 outs for William McCovey, who rolls a 1-7 again. Well, you struck out William McCovey twice in 2 innings, but you're down 4 runs. Roger Metzger, 411, right X. This is Bonds. He's a 1. Yeah, he's out. You know, somewhere the Cincinnati Reds might be tuned in tonight and go, ooh, well, maybe there's a big orange machine to rival our big red machine. Maybe the Cincinnati Reds aren't the best team in baseball right now. Interesting. They got the attention of the Cincinnati Reds watching on TV somewhere at some bar near Riverfront Stadium, I guess. Cedeno, 39, flies left. And with 2 outs, Joe Ferguson, 45, on a 1 home run, fly ball to left. Bottom of the third, Larry Herndon, 2-7 Ks. Chris Beer, 58, short X. Metzger's a 1E14, makes the play. And with 2 outs, Mark Hill, 57 Ks. In a vacuum, there's a lot to like about the Houston Astros. If you want to know, they have amazing infield defense. They have a 1E14 short, 1E17 at third, and a 2E10 at second base. They got a 1-4 in center field in Cedeno. You know, Cruz, Frank Robinson, Watson. There's enough offense here. You got J.R. Rich, Dave Roberts. You got Mangori closing things out. There's a lot to like about this team. But right now, they gotta change their channel or something. They gotta tune it up or something. There's something wrong with the Astros. I don't know what it is. Top of the 4th, Jose Cruz, 311 flies to right. They've scored 0, 2, and 0 runs, in 3 1/3 innings, 3 1/3 games. Frank Robinson, 2-4, flies to center. And they have Frank Robinson. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer and near the end of his career, but the Astros said, let's get Frank Robinson on this team just to keep adding pieces. It's not helping the Astros. Bob Watson, 55. He struck out. Bob Watson only hits .324. He just struck out. Bottom of the 4th, Rob Sparing, 2-6. There's a walk. Bobby Bonds, 39, flies to left. Tito Fuentes, 54, center X. And this is Cedeno, right? Yeah, 1E7. Makes the play. And Gary Matthews, 33, pops to first. A couple nice innings there for Dave Roberts. Into the 5th. It's Bob Hansen, a 297 hitter. 212, pops to third. Doug Rader, 510, catcher's X. 3E1, Mark Hill makes the play. Tommy Helms, 410, pops to short. And right now, Mr. Jim Barr has put in his application for the National League Cy Young Award. He's been absolutely brilliant this year. And look, I'm not going to slight the guy. He's a really talented pitcher, but I don't recall Cy Young. And I don't know. I don't know if he's ever had a Cy Young. Well, let's check it out. Was he ever on a... Yeah, I mean... We got time, folks, do we not? Yeah, we got time here to check stuff like this out. Let's find out if Jim Barr ever made a Cy Young list and where he stands. Because he's just been pitching out of his mind here lately. I don't see any awards or any sort of stuff like that. I know he didn't win one, but he usually has Cy Young voting. You'd think he'd make a top 10. Here we are in 74. Great, the best control in the National League right there. You can see that number. The whip is a 112. 274 ERA. Best, where were the Giants as a team that year? They were 72 and 90. So that might hurt his chances of getting on a Cy Young list. So that's it. That's the Jim Barr. Never made a top 10 Cy Young list. Well, he is now. Bottom of the fifth. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay. It's Dick Dietz. 38's a walk. William McCovey. 38 is single 1 to 11. Gets it. Oh boy. 2 on for Larry Herndon. 66 flies to left. Crispier, crunchier, Crispier. 1-6 is 5-4-3 double play. 4-0 game. Barr continues. What do you got? A 2-hitter? Yeah. Roger Metzger. 558 lines of first. Cedeno, 5'11", short X. Great infield defense for the Giants. Fuentes, 2E6, Spire, 2E14. Makes the play. And Joe Ferguson, 58, short X again. And out again. Bottom of the sixth. Mark Hill, 5'10", walks. Rob Sparing, 1-2, fly ball, left field B, plus an injury. He will leave the game. Ed Goodson will replace him at third base. Back up top to Bobby Bonds, 58, short X, and this should be a double play out of Metzger, and it is. Nice little comeback. After the shaky second inning, Roberts has been fine, but it might be too little too late. 9 outs to get for a sweep. Can the Giants improve their defense? Yeah, they can actually. Let's do that. Let's actually take Dick Dietz out of the lineup, which is silly to do. He's got like 1,000 OPS. We'll take him out of the lineup because we're already got a 4-run lead. We're going to put Bob Robertson at first base where he's a 2E14. Okay, now all the defense is in. Into the seventh. It's Jose Cruz. 1-4, lies to right. Frank Robinson, 39. There aren't any hits in these columns. Bob Watson, 1-3. He misses his and skies the center field. Well, folks, here we are. We're in the seventh inning. Got there relatively quickly. In a 4-0 game, we're in San Francisco. And we are enjoying, when this thing eventually pops up here, Moby Grape. A legend of Haight-Ashbury and Fillmore and Avalon with Quicksilver and Chet, the whole San Francisco Sly and the Family Stone. Where in the heck are we, folks? Yeah, here we are. Moby Grape 69 is what we're listening to. With bonus tracks. Great stuff here. Ain't That a Shame? Ooh Mama Ooh. Looper on here? Looper's not on this one. You Can Do Anything is, though. Great LP. Throw this down. Oh, yeah. Let's get us some volume. Giants deserve it. The Giants put the music up. We put the music up. Because it's the Giants world. You're all just living in it, folks. There you go. Some Moby Grape. Bottom of the seventh in San Francisco. Dave Roberts continues. It's Tito Fuentes. 64. Strikes out. Gary Matthews, 58, short X. Metzger, 1E14 still. And with 2 outs, Bob Robertson, 1-8, walks. And with 2 outs, McCovey. 2-8 is a walk. 2 on, 2 outs for Larry Herndon. 55 off Roberts, single 1-2, and he lines out. All right. Stretch time music, we can calm it down a little bit. There you go. Good enough. All right, we go to the eighth. 6 outs to get. Jim Barr is not going anywhere. Bob Hansen, 1-7. There's a hit. Double 1-2 base hit. Doug Rader, 1-5, flies left. Tommy Helm, 64, third X. This is the weak link. This is the injury. And so you got Ed Goodson, a 4E33 at third base. You should be able to reach base, but you don't. There's a break for the Giants, as if they need another one. Get a ground ball C on a 4E33 third baseman. With 2 outs, it's Roger Metzger. There's a single. Can we get a run? Can we run Bob Hansen? I think he can. I think he's got wheels. He's an 11. 12-13. On an 11 versus Herndon's arm. And he scores on them before they get the run. There goes your shutout. Starter 8, Jim Barr. We'll go to the point of weakness. So Daniel would have to reach. With a runner at first and 2 outs in a 4-1 game. Here's the pitch to Cesar Cedeno. 68 pops to second base. Best chance the Astros have is if the Giants go to their closer with a 3-run lead, Gary Lavelle, who's been really shaky. So maybe the Astros will do that. All right. Bottom of the 8th, Dave Roberts. He's done enough to continue. He had one bad inning, but otherwise he's been pretty good. Chris Spire, 6'10", catcher's X. Ferguson's a 3.5. 1 out. Mark Hill, 1-7's a walk. 2-6, Goodson's a single against a lefty. And I think that'll do it. All right, Dave Roberts is gone. He hit the point of weakness anyway. 7 1/3 innings. They need someone to slam a mythical door. Out of the Houston bullpen, it's Joe Niekro. How about this? So Niekro, we got him to Houston a little sooner. Technically on 74, he was an Atlanta Brave. His brother taught him the knuckleball, Phil. And then he goes to the Astros, and then as a late bloomer, dominates in the late 70s. Eventually wins 20 games. He does make a Cy Young list, unlike Jim Barr, who did not. 3.56 ERA and 74 for your hot Atlanta Braves. Joe Niekro is going to come in here in the 8th with 2 men on and face Bobby Bonds. Here's the pitch to Bobby Bonds. 37, this is trouble. Triple 1-3, that's a base hit, and that will score another run. It is 5-1. Runners in the corners, the infield comes up and holds for Tito Fuentes, and that is a sac fly to center field. It is now 6-1 with 2 outs. Bobby Bonds does not steal second. He's not really interested. Gary Matthews grounds a third. Well, it's 6-1 now in the 9th. Jim Barr is exited. Let's go Ed Hiliki again. Ed Hiliki, let's take a look at this guy. So you're probably wondering, what's wrong with Ed Hiliki? Well, really nothing. Ed Hiliki, this is a futures pick, if you want to call it. 4 years from this card, I think in 78, he leads the National League in WHIP for the Giants. Here in 74, he's 1-8 with a 4.26 ERA in 74 innings, but like we said, he needs work. And in a potential clinching 4-game sweep with a 5-run lead in the 9th, the Giants turn to this guy, and the Astros seem to not even care. As we go to the 9th inning, it'll be Joe Ferguson leading off. 33, flies to center. Jose Cruz, he pops to first, and Frank Robinson, 2-10, flies left field. That's the end of the game. There you go. Wasn't that hard, was it? Man, I tell you, it seems like sometimes in Strat-O-Matic, you just keep turning cards and the game's over. You already know what happened. And that's just what happened. The Giants are just doing whatever they feel like doing. And there's a 4-game, relatively easy 4-game sweep, 9th consecutive win by this team. Again, if it comes to a tiebreaker in the postseason, the Reds have the tiebreaker for home field if it comes to that. Reds have to win their division first, and they're in a dogfight. So we'll go to the post game and do all that wonderful stuff. Say a hit off of Niekro. Roberts loses another one, 8 hits and 6 runs, and the Astros are in big, big, big trouble right now in the National League West, as the Giants and Dodgers and even the Padres are outplaying them, and the Astros have one of the worst records in the National League, which is not what I thought I'd be saying. I really like this Astro team, but tough schedule, incredibly deep batting slumps by a huge chunk of this team. 1009-0108-6914 0277-702. The Astros put 4. I said 4 men on base. The Giants put 16 men on base and win by 5. 6-1. Gosh, you know the Giants are actually playing better than the Oakland A's played last year. The amazing Dynasty A's when they won the World Series. Something to consider here as we plug the stats in. Houston, that's what the schedule brought them. You got to play the team on your schedule. There's no way out. And you just kind of sit and you take it. Let's start with the Giants. My goodness. They are now 11-3. They're hitting, check this out. They're hitting 243, but how many walks do they have? They got 75 walks and 469 at-bats. That's not a ridiculous amount. They got like almost a 400 on base. They got a 288 team ERA. And they've had a lot of homers here. Bonds 4 with 9 stolen bases. 11-3 are your Giants. Astros 7-13. They're hitting 260 with a 391 ERA. Joe Ferguson's got 5 home runs and 18 RBIs. My goodness. He is tearing it up. He's top 10 MVP in the National League, folks. Joe Ferguson, former Dodger. We traded him to the Astros, and eventually we'll get him back to the Dodgers in the late 70s. Right now, Yeager's the starting catcher for the Dodgers. They didn't need 2. 5 homers and 18 RBIs in 20 games for Joe Ferguson. That is correct. And yet, his team is 7-13. My goodness, folks. 243 games in the books. The league's hitting 267 with a 391 ERA. Again, let's look at the National League West. There we are. Giants, 786 ball in the National League. A little bit better than the Phillies. Right now, they're probably at the number 1 seed in the National League. But that's all I got. That's all I got, folks. That was quick, relatively painless. Break up the Giants. They simply roll the hapless Astros. 4 straight. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.